And what might be the best content drop of the year is here. Cal Raleigh looks like he might be one of the best cards in the show history. We got the finest Team Affinity, finest collection. I think there's a finest pack. We have the final roster update of the year. I think a new conquest map. Just a lot of stuff to go over today. We're going to talk about what's coming later just next week as well. But we're going to try to cover everything in this video. In the comments, I want to know, what are you most excited for from this content drop? What finest cards are looking the best for you? Which ones have you been using? How are they feeling? Everything like that. Now, what I want to start is what I'm most excited for, and that's going to be the finest collection, okay? And just like the other Team Affinities, we do have the finest collections where you can go ahead and exchange your finest voucher from the My Journey. That's how you're unlocking the Team Affinity finest cards today. We're going to go ahead and go over those, look at all their attributes here in a second. But first, I want to take a look at the Show 25 finest collection cards and see what we're working with. So we have this collection here at 10 collect 10 cards. You have a 2025 finest pack. We are going to go over all of these cards, all of their whoa. Oh my god, wait, there's more than I expected in here. We're going to go over all of these in a second. At collect 20, you get another one of those packs. At collect 30, you get your first of 3 collection cards. So collect 30 finest cards for finest Bobby Witt Jr. I might have to be using him as shortstop. 117 contact versus righties, max versus lefties, 111 and 95 for the power numbers with max clutch, max fielding, max reaction, and max speed for Bobby Witt Jr. Unfazed, dead red, breaking ball hitter, bad ball hitter, the best hitting quirks in the game for him. That's your first collection. Then at collect 40, you have 99 overall, Paul Skeens. 120 hits per 9, max pitching clutch, 4-seam, sinker, sweeper, Vulcan change, and a slider. We got the velo up in the top right, the control up in the top right, and then the pitch break in the top right as well for this Paul Skeens. And he is, it looks like, a finest captain. I actually didn't even know this, but it looks like he's a finest captain. So we can see the boost here for those. And we can also see the quirks, outlier 1 and outlier 2. That's outlier on the 4-seam fastball and the sinker for Paul Skeens. And then collect 50, one of the best cards I feel like I've ever seen, especially because he is a switch hitting catcher. Max contact, max power, 106 vision, max clutch, 96 fielding, 85 blocking at catcher, 92 reaction, a really good arm. 63 speed is obviously a little bit low, but he is a catcher. He is big dumper. It's weighing him down. He also is the finest hitting captain, it looks like. So we can see +8 contact versus each side, vision, and clutch. And then we can see breaking ball hitter. Now, that is where I feel like he's lacking. You know, I don't know if I would call him the best card ever or anything like that, because he is lacking in some quirks, and then obviously he's lacking speed. I feel like there's guys that have maybe had a little bit more 5 tools. Not like he's super duper slow, but still one of the best cards of the year, especially one of the best catchers that we've ever seen for sure. It's this big dumper Cal Raleigh, and then like I said, he is that finest captain, and that is the 2025 finest collection. I think before we take a look at the Team Affinity cards for finest, I think I want to go ahead and just check out the pack. And I believe it's probably going to be sold in the shop. We can see people are excited about this content drop, apparently, because the servers are slow. In case you've been behind on Team Affinity, there are 3 free finest vouchers in the shop available for you right now. We also have a community finest reveal prize, a 2025 finest choice pack. There is the free 85+ live series pack. Sorry, yeah, I think this is just basically a free finest pack. Yeah. Okay, my fault. Sorry, I don't know why that was so hard for me to understand, but you have a free finest pack. You have a base round starting with Framber Valdez going to Matthew Boyd. So let's take a look at the base round cards, starting with the Astros, Framber Valdez. There's a lot of cards to go over today, so we're probably going to go pretty fast. Checking on each pitcher, the velo up in the top right, and the pitch selection looks pretty solid. The control up in the top right, and then the break is maxed out on 4 of his 5 pitches, and he does have break outlier. Next up in the base round is going to be Spencer Torkelson. First baseman also plays third in the outfield with 75 fielding, 65 speed. He's got max power versus lefties, 120 versus righties. No quirks for him. Next up in the base round is Jesus Luzardo, starting pitcher for the Phillies. 4-seam sweeper, circle change, sinker, and a slider. The velo up in the top right, the control up in the top right, and the breakup in the top right for him. No quirks for Luzardo. Next up in the base round is going to be Trent Grisham. He is part of the no batting gloves team build. Again, I just want to apologize for struggling to figure out that all that was a free finest pack. I don't know why that was so hard for me, but he's really good versus righties. He's got really good power versus lefties. Still 100 contact is not terrible. 100 clutch is a little bit sad though, but 63 speed and a rally monkey quirk for Trent Grisham. Then in the base round, we also have Hunter Goodman. There's really a lot more cards in the pack than I expected. Hunter Goodman, catcher for the Rockies, 115 and 121 for his power numbers. Not a terrible fielding catcher either. No quirks for him. Dylan Dingler, another base round catcher, has max contact versus lefties, only 90 power versus righties, but max fielding and max arm strength, and really all around for the field. He is very solid. No catcher pop time quirk, though. Even with his max arm strength, he does not have catcher pop time. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Also in the base round is going to be Edwin Diaz, and the servers are really loading slow today. I need to go back once we're done looking at these. I didn't pay attention to how many of these you could buy, how many stubs they were, but you get one free one in the shop, and then collect 10, collect 20 finest cards. And oh, dude, look, this Edwin Diaz is insane. Nah, these are 40,000 stubs. You can buy 6 of them, but collect 10 and collect 20 of the finest cards, which you can just do for free through Team Affinity, and there is 3 free finest packs for you, which should really help towards that collection. There's also a finest mini seasons that we're going to check out, and I'll see y'all once we're able to look at this Edwin Diaz card. And there we go, Edwin Diaz is here. He's got max hits per 9, pitching clutch, 4-seam slider, circle change, 2-seam fastball, the velo in the top right, control good on 2 of the pitches, and then the pitch break maxed down on 2 of the pitches. That circle change is looking a little bit scary for Edwin Diaz. We also in the base round have Matt Chapman with max power versus righties, only 105 for his contact numbers, but a good fielding third baseman with 83 speed. He's also a bad ball hitter. And then I believe the final card in the base round is going to be Matthew Boyd, starting pitcher for the Cubs. 4-seam, circle change, slider, curveball, and a sinker. The velo in the top right, the control in the top right, and then the pitch break in the top right. So his control was looking really good to end off the base round. Now for the mid round, we have Brent Rooker to start us off. Max contact versus lefties, max power versus righties. We can see 100 vision, 120 clutch. Not the best fielding right fielder or left fielder in the game. Dead red breaking ball hitter, though, among some other quirks for Brent Rooker. Carlos Rodon in the mid round for the Yankees. 121 hits per 9, 4-seam slider, circle change, sinker, and a 12-6 curveball. That velo in the top right, control up in the top right, and the pitch break is literally maxed out besides his 12-6 curve, which is sitting at 96 for Carlos Rodon. Also in the mid round is going to be Brandon Nimmo for the Mets. 108 and 107 for the contact, 109 and 110 for the power, 99 vision, 74 speed for him. And then we can see bad ball hitter among some other quirks for Brandon Nimmo. Manny Machado. I'm a big fan of Machado cards in the game. Is in the mid round. Max contact versus righties, but max power versus lefties. 80 fielding, 35 speed for Machado. Unfazed, dead red, breaking ball hitter among some other quirks for Machado. Josh Hader, one of my favorite relievers. I finally can upgrade him again. Gets a finest card. Max hits per 9 and pitching clutch. 2-seam slider, circle change. The control looking solid besides the circle change. The pitch break is maxed out on the slider for Josh Hader, and he is a road warrior. I'm going to have to compare him to his other cards. Also in the mid round is going to be Nathan Eovaldi. Man, there really is a lot more cards in this pack than I expected. Starting pitcher for the Rangers. Velo up in the top right. Control is really, really good up in the top right. And then the pitch break is really good besides the curveball for Nathan Eovaldi. But he does have breakout liar. And then finally, to finish off the mid round is going to be Jazz Chisholm Jr. Max power versus righty. 77 speed, 91 fielding at second. Also plays third and center field. Bad ball hitter among some other quirks. Now for the rare round, starting with Kyle Tucker. We have 113 and 115 for his contact numbers, 112, 118 for the power numbers, 79 fielding, 71 speed, 96 stealing for Kyle Tucker. Unfazed, dead red among some other quirks right there. We also have Ranger Suarez in the rare round, 109 for his hits per 9, sinker, curveball, 4-seam circle change, and a cutter. The velo up in the top rights. The control up in the top right, not really looking good at all. And the pitch break only good on 2 of the pitches. This is in the rare round? Am I true? I feel like, to me, this does not seem like a rare round card. Maybe I'm crazy, but this seems like a rare round card to me. Kyle Schwarber in the rare round. Max contact versus each side, max power versus each side, max clutch, 107 vision, 70 fielding, 55 speed, breaking ball hitter, bad ball hitter, among some other quirks for Kyle Schwarber. Also in the rare round is going to be Riley Green. He's maxed out versus righties, 83 fielding, bad ball hitter, among some other quirks. And then finally, the final card that we have not gone over in the pack is going to be Max Fried for the Yankees. The velo up in the top right, the control looking really good on the top right, the pitch break maxed down on 3 of his 5 pitches, breakout liar, and pickoff artist for this Max Fried. So that's going to be the pack. I'm sorry there were some hiccups there. This looks to be just a free pack that you're able to get. So with those collections, there's technically 3 free packs. But let's go back to collections. Let's go ahead and see this, and then we'll check out the finest mini season. But finest team affinity, we're just going to take a look at each card. Again, probably not spending a ton of time on this, but we have Trevor Rogers for the Orioles, starting pitcher with max hits per 9 and pitching clutch. Velo up in the top right, control not looking too bad with max hits per 9, and then the break is maxed out on 3 of his 5. For every card, there's going to be captain boost. They are team captain, so he's the Orioles team captain. We can see that right there. We're going to just go over that for each card in case you do want to see that for anyone in specific. The Red Sox get Garrett Crochet, the velo up in the top right, control in the top right looking really good for him, paired with 118 hits per 9. Then the break is maxed down on 3 of the 5. We can see his captain boost right here, and then he does have an outlier on his sinker. And then for the Yankees, they get finest Cody Bellinger, who has max contact versus lefties, and then 111, 115 for his power numbers, 94 fielding. We can see the captain boost for him, and then the quirks. And what I'm wondering as we're going through these cards, how is that dude in the top right getting so many of these chase packs? But we see the velo on the top right for Drew Rasmussen, the control up in the top right, and then the pitch break in the top right for Drew Rasmussen. We see the captain boost right here. He is a day player. Now finishing off the American League East is Kevin Gausman, 4-seam splitter, slider, sinker, that velo, that control, and that break. We can see the captain boost for Kevin Gausman, pickoff artist, and break outlier. The White Sox get Colson Montgomery, who has max power versus each side, 95 fielding at short, also plays third base. We can see his captain boost right here, and then no quirks for Colson Montgomery. The Guardians get Gavin Williams, 4-seam slurve, sweeper, cutter, sinker. We see the velo. The control's not super good. The break is good besides the cutter. We can see his captain stuff. And then the quirks, only road warrior for Gavin Williams. Tarek Skubal for the Tigers. Circle change, 4-seam sinker, slider, and a knuckle curveball. The velo on the top right. Control looking really, really good. The break looking good. Besides the knuckle curveball, we can see the captain boost looking pretty much the same for every team. That's why we're not spending a ton of time on it. He does have an outlier on his 4-seam fastball, and he does have breakout liar for Tarek Skubal. Michael Garcia gets a card for the Royals. Max contact versus lefties. Max vision should be really good. Max fielding will be nice at third or second and short. We can see the captain boost. So I don't think they're exactly the same. Definitely not exactly the same. My fault if I said that. But the final card in the AL Central is going to be Joe Ryan for the Twins. Now, I get that some of these guys had better years as we take a look at the velo. The control's not good at all besides the 4-seam fastball. Break is maxed down on the splitter and the sweeper. The captain boost here. And then the quirks here. Like, I get that not all these guys had same years. Some of them had way better years. But there is some big discrepancies in these cards. Some are really good. And then some are a little bit mid, a little bit disappointing. I don't know if y'all are noticing the same thing I am. But some of these look quite a bit better than others. Astros get Hunter Brown. Velo in the top right. Control in the top right. And the break in the top right. Maxed down on that knuckle curveball. We can see his captain stuff here. And then he does have breakout liar for Hunter Brown. The Angels get Joe Adele. Max contact and power versus lefties. Max power versus each side. We can see the tier 3, tier 2, and 1 captain boosts. Breaking ball hitter, rally monkey for Joe Adele. Next up is the A's. They get Sean Newcomb. Hits per 9 is maxed. Pitching clutch is terrible at 104 for a reliever. The velo on the top right. The control, it's fine in the top right. The pitch break is definitely, I think, where he excels, though. We can see the captain boost for Sean Newcomb, and then no quirks for him. New show shop items available. I guess we'll have to check that after this. I'm not sure what could be in there, but Logan Gilbert gets a card for the Mariners. Four-seam slider, splitter, slurve, and a sinker. The velo up in the top right. The control looking really, really good for Gilbert. The break looking really, really good besides the sinker. We can see his tier 3 boost right here. And then we can see his quirks right here. Breakout liar. The final card in the American League to go over, Wyatt Langford. Let's take a look at him. 120, 110 for the power numbers. Max fielding, 96 speed, 78 stealing. We can see his captain boost right here. Let's go ahead and check out his quirks. We can see bad ball hitter among some others. So that's going to be the American League. Let's check out the National League. Drake Baldwin gets the card for the catchers. He is from Wisconsin. I think he went to the same high schools, maybe my cousins. Max contact for him versus lefties. 86 fielding, 96 blocking, 93 reaction to catcher. We can see his boost right there. No quirks for Drake Baldwin. The Marlins get Kyle Stowers, maxed out versus righties, only 90 power versus lefties, plus 12 for the contact numbers for Marlins captain boost. No quirks for Stowers. Lindor gets a card for the Mets, switch hitting shortstop, 96 fielding with 91 reaction, 120 and 110 for the contact numbers, 119 and 112 for the power numbers, 117 clutch. His tier 3 2-in-1 captain boosts. And then unfazed breaking ball hitter, bad ball hitter, some very good quirks for Francisco Lindor. The Phillies get Trey Turner. A lot of people are going to be using this card, I bet, with max contact versus each side, max speed, 99, and max fielding and reaction, as well as max clutch, 115 vision for Trey Turner. The captain boost you see right there. The quirks you see right here. Trey Turner definitely looking solid. CJ Abrams gets the card for the Nationals. Max stealing, 85 speed. Max contact versus righties. His captain boost that you see right here. The quirks you see here to finish off the National League East. Now for the best division in baseball, PCA, no surprise, gets the card for the Cubs. Max fielding, arm strength, accuracy, reaction speed, stealing, and power versus righties. 120 contact versus righties. 100, 113 for his lefty numbers. 90 vision. A very good looking PCA card. We can see his captain boost here. No quirks for him. The Reds gets Andrew Abbott, four-seam circle change, slurve, sweeper, and a cutter. The velo in the top right. The control in the top right. Looking really good for him. And then the pitch break in the top right. We can see his captain boost. And then he is a pickoff artist, and he does have break outlier. Next up is going to be the Brewers with William Contreras, 120 contact versus righties, 109 versus lefties. Just really good looking overall, well-rounded hitting and fielding numbers for Contreras. The captain boost that you see right there. We can see his quirks, bad ball hitter, breaking ball hitter, among some others for him. The Pirates get Dennis Santana, slider, four-seam cutter, sinker, circle change for this reliever. The velo on the top right. Control looking really good. The break looking really good besides the slider, which is not terrible. Yo, this is a really good looking righty reliever card, man. Road Warrior Day player, but a really good looking reliever card. The Cardinals. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. When I say all finest cards are not created equally, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like this is awful compared to a lot of these other starting pitchers. There's no way I'm using this dude in my rotation. Look at this. Four-seam fastball, sweeper, curve, sinker, cutter. Now, the only saving grace is his control. Maybe he's going to be able to paint enough with max down on 3, 97 and 96 for the sinker and cutter. Maybe he's going to be able to paint the corners and everything with that control. The break is awful on the four-seam and the sinker, but max down on the other three. So, like, maybe that break on his stuff paired with homebody and day player and that control, like, maybe he'll be okay. I'll try him out, see how he does, but I don't know, man. I'm very disappointed in that card as a Cardinals fan, but they also, like, didn't have an amazing year. But I don't know. I was disappointed when I saw that. Other Cardinals fans, let me know if you agree or disagree. If you're not a Cardinals fan, hey, what do you think of the Sonny Gray card? Because I feel like he just doesn't look good. But Corbin Carroll gets the card for the D-backs, max fielding and speed, as well as power versus righties. We can see his captain stuff there. Bad ball hitter is probably the best hitting quirk you could have. Dead Red's very nice to have as well. The Rockies get Jimmy Hergetz, velo on the top right. The control looking really, really good in the top right. And then the break is looking solid on 3 or 4 of his 5 pitches. His captain stuff here. No quirks for Jimmy. The Dodgers get Andy Pages, max contact versus lefties. He's got max arm strength, max reaction. His captain stuff we see here, the quirks we see here. The Padres get Nick Pivetta, starting pitcher, four-seam, 12-6 sweeper, cutter, and a sinker. The control looking pretty solid on each of his pitches. The break is maxed down on 2 of the 5. We see the captain boost for him. No quirks for Nick Pivetta. And the final Team Affinity finest card, not the final finest card today, though, is going to be Logan Webb for the Giants. Sinker, sweeper, changeup, cutter, and a four-seam fastball. The control up in the top right. The break in the top right. That's where Logan Webb excels, though, man. I feel like it's the control, but same thing as Sonny Gray. Yeah, they both got good control, but those hits per 9 with all of these hitters having super high contact numbers, I just feel like is not going to be viable. But we can see his captain boosts. We can see breakout liar and pickoff artist right there for his quirks. And those are your finest cards for Team Affinity. We saw the collections. We saw the pack. What we have not seen is the finest conquest map. I'm not sure if there's anything really in here, but let's go ahead and take a look before we check out the mini season. We can see there's a deluxe pack, a premier pack, a premier pack, a premier choice pack, a premier choice pack to finish off the map. So no finest pack on the finest map, but you do have finest packs in the collection, and then a free one in the shop. I'm a little bit surprised there's not one from the finest map. Now let's take a look at the finest mini season, because there are some cards in here, including Fernando Tatis Jr. Let's go ahead and take a look at the goals that we have. Then we'll take a look at the attributes. I'm probably going to need to write down these players so I don't forget them, but we can see Show Pack XP, Show Pack XP, Show Pack XP, Show Pack XP, same thing. And then starting it off, it looks like Saddam Rafaela. We're going to take a look at him. Oh, wait, tally. Oh, yeah. So tally 10 hits with 2025 finest or just finest cards in general. You get Rafaela. And then if you get 5 extra base hits in the mini season with Rafaela, then you get Yandy Diaz. And if you get 12 total bases with Yandy Diaz, it looks like you get Cade Smith. And then 2,000 PXP with finest cards, you get a premier pack. If you get 2025 PXP with 2025 finest cards, you get a premier pack. There's Moonshot 2.0 pack, Home Run Derby X pack, July Spotlight pack, 88 plus Live Series Diamond pack, September Spotlight pack, a complete chase pack, Ballin' pack, Deluxe pack, Ballin' pack, mini season stuff like normal. And then if you win the championship, you get 99 finest Fernando Tatis Jr. That's the finest mini season. And let's go ahead and take a look at the attributes and everything on these players. So we're going to start with Rafaela first. We'll just search Raf here, and we can see Rafaela, center fielder card, max fielding numbers, max speed, 112, 102 for the contact numbers, situational hitter for him. Again, he is from the mini seasons. Next up is going to be, I believe, Yandy Diaz from the mini season. Let's go ahead and take a look at him. First baseman also plays third, 125 max contact versus righties, max power versus lefties, max clutch. The 120 vision is going to be really helpful. Unfazed, situational hitter, among some other quirks for Yandy Diaz. Next up, we have Cade Smith in the finest mini seasons, closing pitcher. What? Is that a typo? Okay, max hits per 9. Dude, 80 pitching clutch is awful. Like, there's no way that's real, right? Chat, is this a typo? If you're watching this video right now, do you think that's a typo or do you think that's accurate? Because 80 pitching clutch is awful. That is actually, like, that makes him pretty much unusable at this point in the year if there's runners in scoring position. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, that is like unusable pitching clutch. There's no way that's real, right? We see the velo on the top right. The control, not good besides the four-seam fastball. Pitch break is maxed out on the splitter. Yo, that blows my mind, though. There's no way that's right? Can anyone tell me, is that right? Cade Smith, does he have 80? I mean, his pitching... Okay, that might be... Is he just not clutch? I don't know. But then the championship, if you beat the mini seasons championship, you get Fernando Tatis Jr. finest card. Let's take a look at him. Max fielding, arm strength, and reaction, as well as max contact versus righties, max discipline, 102 contact versus lefties, 122 and 110 for his power numbers. We can see the quirks that he has right here. That's going to be the mini seasons championship reward. Also today, we do have the final roster update of the year. So in the comment section, please let me know, did your investments pay off? Is there anyone that is just going to end the year not upgraded? Let's go ahead and take a look. There's only 15 pages. There's not a lot to go over. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on these low pages anyways. We're only focused on the higher pages, but if anyone wants to see these, we do have the lower overall pages, but slowly but surely getting up to the higher overalls. We can see some new golds. Brad Keller, Javi. We don't really care much about the new golds. Probably not going to be a ton of downgrades. Trey Savage all the way up to a gold, though, up to an 83 overall. I know some people are expecting him to go diamond, but he got up to an 83. We can see Lazardo, Gavin Williams up to 83s among some other guys. We can see some guys getting close up to 84s, but not quite getting to that new diamond level. And let's take a look at some new diamonds. Seiya Suzuki, Bo Bichette, Ernie Clement, Jackson Churio, Andres Munoz, Josh Naylor, Kevin Gosman, all up to diamond. And that might be all of the new diamonds. Vlad Jr. goes from an 85 all the way up to a 92. Crochet +3 up to a 92, and then Aaron Judge +1. He ends the year at a 97 overall. So did anyone have any investments really pay off? If I would have invested in Bo Bichette when I said I would, then I could have potentially made a ton of stubs, but I just got lazy. I didn't end up investing. Now let's make sure we didn't miss anything today. I think we've covered all of the new content coming today. We still got new content, new finest cards coming soon. Let me see if there actually is anything new in the pack shop real quick. There's an extreme redeem. So this we didn't see earlier. There is a community finest extreme voucher. Claim your prize for reaching tier 4 of the finest community reveal. This gives you a boost in the extreme program. I actually kind of am curious what this is because I haven't finished the extreme program. It's worth 10 points. It's worth 10 points is what it's set up at the top. You can claim that in the extreme program. I feel like I might as well go do that right away because I happened to go out of town pretty much right when this program came out. But extreme voucher collection, I know a lot of people have probably already finished this, but hey, man, I'll take a free 10 points, and that makes me only 8 points away from Triple Crown Roger Clemens. You love to see it. And let's go ahead, though, and go back up here. So we went over the finest collection. We saw Cal Rowley, Paul Skeens, Bobby Witt. We went over the Team Affinity cards, all 30 of them. We went over the final roster update. We went over the finest pack. We saw the finest conquest map. There is also a finest event going on in case anyone cares about this. But I feel like almost nobody plays events anymore unless you're just trying out new cards, trying to grind PXP, or grind out the multiplayer program. But that is all the new stuff I believe that we had today. Coming on the 11th of November is the 2025 Finest program. The drop 2 missions for the XP Path and multiplayer program. November 14th gets us our Captain Blizzard drop number 1 program. And then November 18th gets us the Retro Finest program. And then on November 21st is the new XP Path, what I think might be the final XP Path of the year. I could be wrong on that, though. And then the Weekend Classic, next one coming up on November 21st. But as always, drop a like if y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see what you think of everything new down in the comment section. Subscribe for daily videos. We might enjoy one of these on screen, another on the channel. Otherwise, hopefully I will see you in tomorrow's daily video.